boys, so right here we got everything for the hydraulic clutch setup for the CRF110 from Avail Motorsports. Of course, got ourselves a new gasket for the side cover, so we will be removing that. And here we got our master. Also came with some electrical stuff and what looks to be like pretty much a rebuild kit, and as well as a choke lever, which we won't be using. So in here we got our slave and our line, both from Avail. I'm gonna go ahead and unpackage all this stuff, and I think the first thing we're gonna do is put the master on. I know it says to like bench bleed it, but we're not gonna do that. I want to put this thing on right now. Dang, that looks nice. Got our line, got our banjo bolt, or banjo here. Bolt is in this guy here, which I need to open up. Look at that. And there's our slave. That's a nice unit. Time to go upstairs. Alright, I think first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and get our master cylinder mounted up somewhere in there. Alright, there we go. It's obviously pretty easy to mount this up. This is just on a hinge on this side here. One bolt, slide it around the bar, tighten it up where you want it. Pretty simple. Honestly gonna be taking it off anyways once I get the line and everything ran, so not really sure why I mounted that yet, but that's alright. So first things first, we're gonna take off our number plate just to get it out of the way, and then we're gonna set this on the ground and tip it over on its side so that we can start disassembly. Alright, well that was more of a hassle than it needed to be. So first, we gotta take off all of this stuff. I know it's impossible to see in this light, but we gotta take off our cradle, our BBR skid plate here, our peg bar, our brake, and our kickstart. So I'm gonna start on that. Alright, so did not have to take the cradle off entirely, just loosened it all up and was able to get the peg bar out. The only thing left is we're going to take the dipstick out. We are going to loosen the adjustment for the auto clutch. I've heard it can get hung up on this, so we're going to loosen that up, and then it's just some 8mm bolts all the way around the case, and we will pop it off. Alright boys, so we got the cover off. Didn't feel like grabbing my mallet, so there's my makeshift mallet, but definitely needed a few taps to come off. And we did in fact rip our gasket, and this is why you always buy a new gasket. So now that we got that off, nothing that we have to take out of the case, but we do have all of this stuff that we will be taking out. There is instructions on Avail's website that kind of shows everything that needs to come out, and I'll even put a picture of that up on the screen, and pretty much everything circled is no longer needed and will be replaced with the slave cylinder for the hydraulic clutch setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull all this stuff out, and then we will assemble our slave, and that's it. So pretty much that arm that was here, that goes up to this whole assembly. That just all kind of pulls out in one piece right there, and there's our arm, and that's it. I am gonna clean out my screen while I'm in here. There's a little bit of stuff on there, but there's only like 12 hours on this bike, so I'm not even gonna worry about the oil spinner right now. All right, so obviously we have our slave here, and we have our banjo bolt and our line banjo, and so you have your O-ring on this side that needs to stay in there, and this is going to be sealed off right inside here. And basically this little tang here is going to sit right over this like so, and then we can screw it in with our banjo bolt. Now just make sure that you pay attention when you're putting these together, and I'll put another picture up on screen since it is kind of hard to see, but you basically have your O-ring, copper washer, then your banjo, and then the other copper washer. Pretty simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this in there. All right, well boys, when they say that it is a tight tolerance fit, they were not kidding. But you can see we got that on, and we got our slave in, and it is in that little slot there. All I basically did was kind of turn it in and pushed at the same time to kind of get this started in the case. Once I got a good chunk of threads showing on the inside, then I was able to thread it on to the slave, and then tightening it to the slave helped pull it in to get her all the way in there. So yeah, it is a tight fit, just so you are aware. This part's done, and we can put everything back together and then run our line. Alright, we got her all back together. So now the plan is going to be to get our line on here and get it snugged down, and then we're going to run it up through, probably going to come behind our throttle cable here, and oh, you can't see anything. And the plan will be to come out right there next to it, in that little spot right there, run it up into our guide and up to our master. So let's get it. All right, I think I got it pretty good here. So I still need to get a P-clip for right here, but otherwise it runs up right by the airbox there, comes out perfectly on the side of the airbox, comes through that guide, and then just routes up through here, and should be perfect right to the master cylinder. So now it's time to put in our little split adapter thing here and get this buttoned up. Alright boys, we got everything ran. The only thing left to do is get the whole system bled. But yeah, I think we're all good. Cha. Well boys, we got her done and bled. We're out in the garage now. It's actually kind of nice out today. So yeah, one thing to note with the kit that I got, I did not get anything, a copper washer or anything to seal the connection to the master cylinder. And I got a hold of Avail about that. I thought I had the wrong adapter piece at first, but it turns out that they use the same adapter for both the Brembo and the Magura, and that we're supposed to use a copper washer. But the kit did not come with one, so quick run to Harbor Freight to grab a variety pack and we're all set. So It took probably a good hour to bleed the whole system. I didn't pre-bleed like the line or the master or anything, or bench bleed it, whatever they recommend. So it took a good hour 15 to get all the air out, but it seems like it's working great. We're gonna go take it for a test ride now and see how this thing does. I am excited. Well, boys, it has been cold and rainy and absolute garbage out, and we have not gotten to take it out for a test ride yet. But I really want to get this video out because a lot of people have been asking about this setup, and so we're gonna save the test ride for another video until we get some nice weather. But yeah, until then, make sure you're subscribed, especially if you want to still see the first ride video and see how this clutch performs. So until next time.